How's it going, guys? It's Teach Man with Satan on both sides. Something I kind of want to talk to you guys about a little bit. I know my last video got me a lot of hatred and whatever, but something I want to touch base on I think is a lot more applicable to everybody else in the world. I want to talk about alcohol and alcohol abuse, what it does to people, things like that. For the most part, I mean, when it comes to my own personal life, I know that, my mom has told me that, at least 3 people in her immediate family have died from alcoholism. Um, my great uncle Lauren is living in Vancouver right now, and he is a rampant, or used to be, I guess, a rampant alcoholic. He's living in a government-appointed apartment right now with random drug screenings, and if he doesn't pass them, he gets kicked out on the streets like he was for at least 10 or 12 years. And I'm going to assume a lot of my other side of my family was too, because they were from the Ukraine where alcoholism is rampant. And, I wanted to talk today about, how it can affect, like, me as a person, how it can affect you as a person, some different signs, I don't know, maybe spark some sort of thought. It's really hard for me to deal with some of the things that happen in my life. I look at me, look at my room, I have a TV back there, whatever. My life obviously can't be that bad, but that's part of my problem. I don't think that as my living situation or my social class or whatever my parents define my social class as, I'm thoroughly convinced in my heart that I should never be able to have any sort of problem. Being a middle class white male living in a suburban neighborhood, like, you shouldn't have any problems. I'm not living, I don't know if any of you know Edmonton, but I'm not living on 118th Ave, I'm not living in Millwoods, like, I'm living in a pretty good neighborhood. I'm living with 2 parents. They're not split, they don't live separately. I've got a whole bunch of immediate and extended family right here in my city. But, it's sometimes it gets hard for me. I mean, when I think that I blame myself for everything, when I think that everybody around me has legitimate problems and that I can't express my own, that feelings get bottled up pretty fast. And speaking of bottled up, it's something similar to that. It's, I gotta find a way to cope with my problems by myself, while I try to care and tend to everybody else's problems around me. And that gets hard, because I understand people's problems, I understand what they think, I understand what they feel, and I want to help them. That's always who I've been. I've been somebody who cares a lot more about other people than I care about myself, because when I really look at it, when I think about myself, when I think about how I feel about myself, I fucking hate myself. I honestly do. I look at the things I do, the things that I think, the things that I say, and it becomes pretty apparent to me that I'm not okay with me as a person. I'm just never been a fan of myself. I've never think I'm doing okay. I never think that I'm okay in general. But I've been with my girlfriend for 11 months yesterday, and I've been in 2 or 3 major relationships, I suppose. Sorry. 2 or 3 major relationships, I suppose, and each one of them has turned out extremely bad. And it's not because of some intrinsic, condescending force. It can be traced back to me every time, because I become the person who becomes so attached and wants to live vicariously through my significant other, because I'm so uncomfortable with who I am as a person and what I do to other people, that I will do anything I would have bent backwards, head over heels for any of my previous girlfriends, and that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly why my first major relationship, when we broke up, was so painful for me, and why I decided to break up with my previous girlfriend, why it was so hard for her, because she saw me as a person who would bend back to her every wish and every command, and became a person for her that it was hard to accept that I was actually taking a stand and becoming my own person. And now I've been dating my new girlfriend for almost a year, 11 months yesterday, and we've never had like a legitimate fight. Like, sure, she's been pissed off at me. I've never been mad at her. Like I said, it's always been my fault. And the only difference is now it's not a fight or a problem caused by, me becoming so attached to the idea of being her ideal person that I become somebody that they never expected me to be, or that they never fell for in the first place. Now it's me trying to cope with the fact that I actually don't like myself. I mean, even look at my hand right now. You know, this happened a few days ago at a demolition party just because my friend's jam space was getting demolished, so we fucking trashed the place. It's hard to deal with. So I do a lot of stupid shit when we're drunk. We were on, again, I don't know if you know Edmonton, but we were on White Ave, and me and my friend downed about 6 pitchers in it's the Strat, so it's a pretty seedy bar, and just got blackout hammered. And I woke up the next day, my mom was mad at me, my girlfriend's mad at me, one of my best friends and his girlfriend are both mad at me. It's just the way that I cope with the fact that I don't like myself. And I've sat for hours and hours and hours. I have a lot of free time. I mean, my job, I'm a parts driver. I don't do a whole lot other than drive around with music, and I just think to myself. And I can't think of any reason of why I should like myself. I've always been one to say that you should be true to yourself, somebody who should be true for what you believe in, what you think, and who you are inside. And 100% honest, straight to the moon, only you can understand who you are. Nobody else can tell you, oh, well, you're this person, you're this person. It can't work that way, because nobody knows 100% of what's going on up here. You can say, oh, I tell this person everything, or this person knows everything about me. That's a lie. I know that for a fact. Even my girlfriend thinks that I tell her everything, and you know what, I really try to, but I know that there are some things going up in here that are just something that she couldn't deal with as a person. She couldn't understand, she couldn't comprehend, and I'm pretty sure there's some things about her that I probably couldn't deal with either. I imagine them all the time. I think that, oh, maybe she's doing this or this, like because of her past or anything like that. But to be 100% honest, I cannot like myself, because I know that nobody knows what's going on up here, and there's a very, very solid chance that nobody ever will. And it's becoming pretty apparent that when I, fuck on my hand at some party, black out onto a fucking lawn, lose my phone, wake up without most of my shit, and have to collect it from 7 or 8 different people, that there's something going wrong. And I remember before I left for that party, I said to my friend, nothing fuels a good night of drinking like a quarrel with your girlfriend. Nothing makes you feel like forgetting how shitty you feel. It's something completely different. It's something that most people don't want to admit to. But at the end of the day, we all have our own addictions. We all have our own ways of coping with the fact that A, we don't like ourselves, B, we can't deal with the outside world. I can't even say that. I know that most people out there who even fucking bother to watch this video, especially after my last video, got a lot of negative response to that. But for anybody, you know, I know I'm not a fucking great person. I've never claimed to be. Obviously not in videos. I've had like 3 in my life. But for anybody who knows who I am, anybody like that, I've never claimed to be a good person. I've never claimed to be some miraculous, towering, fucking moralist over anybody else. Never have I done that. And I feel that I have a strong inferiority complex that a lot of people, actually no, not a lot of people, fucking everybody is somehow better than me. Either the fact that the problems that they have are a lot more substantial and relevant than mine, or the fact that everybody else actually doesn't have a problem, or that my problems are just completely inferior and it's just all in my head and I'm some fucking loser from the suburbs once again. But I think I've fucking woken up blackout hammered on a couple of lawns way too many times, or drank myself to sleep, or spent hundreds upon hundreds of dollars during the week on a single weekday at a liquor store, that I think I know what a problem is, you know. And apparently it runs genetically in my family. I've learned a lot of stuff quite recently that is significant to genetics and my family, and how it relates to me and how similar I am to a lot of my family, that, you know, it's becoming apparent to me that, you know what, maybe I do have a problem. Maybe I'm going to end up like my Uncle Lauren, who lived on a houseboat in Vancouver, running odd jobs because all he needed to pay for is alcohol and just live on a boat. Or my mom's grandparents, who both died of alcoholism, both a decade apart from each other, just because the first couldn't deal with his problems and the second couldn't deal with the loss. But again, I believe that I don't have any real problems. I believe that anybody else who presents a problem to me is more valid in what they say than I am. And it gets hard to be always the inferior. And I wish I could put myself above other people. I wish I could be the person that says, you know, I'm gonna rise above this problem. I'm gonna know that I'm a good person and I'm gonna do what I need to do and what I want. But upon occasion, every occasion I've ever tried that, it might work for a day or two, but I always end up back in the gutter with a bottle of booze in my hands, saying to myself, why would you think that? What makes you think that you're better than anybody else? And what makes you think that you deserve anybody else's time or effort, anybody else's precious talents? It's just hard, guys.